Hey everyone, Dukaness here with a breakdown of a 2v2 elimination game against ItsPowPow. My clanmate Biker and I matched up against him through game battles. We got smacked 5-0 and then 5-2 in the game on Frontier that you're about to see some clips from. I want to make it clear that this isn't a video about why you should play game battles or how you can win a 2v2. It's not often you get the chance to play against a tier 1 player such as PowPow, so it's important you get the most out of those experiences. That's what this video is about. Learning from players who are better than you so that you can make yourself a better player. I want to say GG's to both PowPow and Globes, who are both phenomenal players, but with an emphasis on PowPow. I played him a couple of times in trials and I learned something after every game. I want to pass those lessons on to you guys, so let's get started. First thing I want to talk about is movement skill. So I'm going to show you a clip from the first round and the last round, starting with round 1. Biker gets Globes down, but is then finished off by PowPow, putting me in a 1v1 situation. As I turn the corner of the pillar, I'm trying to pre-aim my reticle to get a shot off as soon as I see him. He slides right under my line of sight and takes me out. Fast forward to the final round. As you can see here, I'm preparing for him to just walk out and try and kill me. Once again, he does something different to remove himself from where I'm expecting him to appear. In the first situation, he slid under my line. In this situation, he jumped over my line. Both times, he beat me clean. I didn't even take a shot because his movement threw me off. One of my clanmates, Johnny, was watching my stream at this time. He basically said, Duke, when players get to the level of PowPow, everyone's gun skill is pretty equal. Once at that level, the differences in skill then stem from a player's movement. The more you've mastered the movement, the more skilled you become, the more engagements you're going to win. This gave me a bit of an epiphany that I hope I can trigger in a few of you. That epiphany is that I'm much closer in gun skill to players like PowPow than I am to their movement skill. I'm not saying my aim is on PowPow's level or any other well-known players for that matter, but I am pretty accurate and I land most of my shots. To be honest, my aim probably won't get much better, but my movement can improve. So for me, or anyone else trying to break out of the ceiling we keep hitting, movement is a good area to work on because there's a bigger skill gap to dig into. What it comes down to is, why would you make your gun skill 2% better when you can make your movement 50% better? The second and last point I want to talk about today is playing scared. Whenever I play a famous streamer or someone who I know is a top tier player, I play like a pansy. I'm scared to get aggressive, I'm afraid to leave spawn, I'm hesitant to push. You're seeing examples of those things in these clips against PowPow, the most notable one being the final round. I get a kill with my tether. Biker and I hesitate about 5 times to pinch PowPow. Since we stalled ourselves for so long, he eventually charges his Stormcaller and takes us out to finish the game. Had we actually pushed him, instead of worrying about what would happen, he wouldn't have been able to charge it and we would have at least been able to take the round. Another one of my clanmates, Daft, was in the stream as well. He also chimed in similar to how Johnny did. He said, Duke, how many teams beat you by playing from spawn? That's all I needed to hear from him to have another epiphany. I thought back to a few weeks ago in trials, specifically in the first few games of each ticket that are generally against easier teams. A lot of those teams play scared against me the same way I do against teams much better than my team. When I play teams that are afraid to challenge, I even think to myself, are they expecting to win by playing in their spawn? But then I go out and do that. It doesn't work for them, just like it doesn't work for me. I've been on both sides of the skill gap. The side that wins every time is the side that isn't afraid. It's human nature to be cautious and move slower when you're worried, and I think that comes out a lot in Destiny. But the reality is, the best way to combat your fear is to do the exact opposite of what is intuitive. If you're camping in spawn, you give your opponent the chance to pin you down and get angles. If you're constantly running away, you're giving your opponent the chance to shoot you in the back without returning fire. And if you aren't pushing them in a 2v1, you're giving them a chance to think and make a plan. In all 3 of those points, you are giving them chances. You are giving them opportunities to beat you. And if you're expecting to lose anyway, you may as well bring the fight to them. What's the worst that can happen if you're expecting to lose anyway? I haven't had a chance to play game battles since this game, and Trials isn't up until next weekend, so I haven't had an opportunity to practice playing Less Afraid, but I did give Supremacy a try, going in with the mindset that I would start mastering movement on my Night Stalker. All of these clips you're seeing now are from yesterday. Really focus on my movement. I'm always sprinting, sliding, jumping, changing direction, putting cover between myself and my opponent, evading in every way that I can. I'm utilizing my vertical space, which is new territory for me. And as you can see, my opponents are having a tougher time landing shots than they would if I wasn't being this evasive. I'm showing you these clips to give you guys some hope. I was dropping 2.0 KDs almost every game yesterday. I'm not bragging, I'm just telling you I normally don't do well in 6v6. It might be that skill-based matchmaking hasn't kicked in yet for Supremacy, but I feel like that's only a small portion of my change in performance. So if increasing my movement helped me overnight, it can help you too, and I just really want to encourage you guys to practice this. Destiny is not all about gun skill, not by a long shot. The sooner you practice skills other than simply shooting and aiming, the sooner you'll see improvements in your performance. Just to quickly summarize, I want to remind you all that I've had the pleasure of playing against many top players in Destiny. I can tell you for absolute certain that none of them have ever camped and spawned, and they've all mastered movement on their respective characters. So for you to improve, you need to start getting in your opponent's face. Be aggressive. Don't sit back. Play instinctively, which is a sure way to make hundreds of mistakes. As you learn from those mistakes, your instinct will become more and more reliable. As your instinct becomes more reliable, you'll start making faster decisions, which will give your opponents less time to think. Incorporate better movement into that equation, and you're going to see significant improvements in your skill and performance. Guys, if you like what I do and you appreciated this video, let me know by spanking that like button. Also, let me know if you agree or disagree with anything I said. I think I'm going to make a video on movement once I get a little more comfortable, so tell me if you'd be interested in that. And I think I'm also going to post some raid guides once it drops on Friday, so keep an eye out for that this weekend. I hope you guys are enjoying Rise of Iron, and I'll see you guys soon. Dukaness out.